Howdy, folks. I'm Catstronaut Brian,
And I'm Castronaut Amber.
and here's some Reddit. We've got some special Space Galaxy cat ears on us today with Space Galaxy glasses. So Amber says that I'm 6 eyes, but I would argue that I'm 8 eyes, Brian. Because, wait, actually, that doesn't make any sense.
Because you have two pairs of glasses on in your regular eyes.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, like, because it was going through the first set of eyes, and that would quadruple it, double it once, and then double it twice, but that doesn't really work. So yeah, I'm 6 eyed cat astronaut Brian. Let's get started. Our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for demanding that my fiance pay me back for selling my train collection?" I'm a 28-year-old female and I live with my aunt and uncle as my parents could not raise me. My uncle started collecting trains as a hobby when he was working as an engineer. I took a huge interest in them as a child and as a teenager. My uncle gave me his entire collection when he became sick. Well, when I turned 19, I moved out and found a nice apartment near my college. I brought the collection with me. Some of my friends thought it was cool, others thought it was weird. I met my boyfriend in college and he moved in with me after we graduated. We got engaged last year and currently are struggling with debt, student loans, and with the wedding. My fiance asked if we could have an expert come into the apartment and price the train collection. I was against that idea and told him that I would not sell the collection as it was a large memory of my uncle. My best friend got engaged this past weekend, and a few of us went to celebrate at her parents' lake house. I was gone for 2 nights, and when I returned, the train collection was completely gone. My fiance came running over to say that a collector had come and given him a decent price for the set. I started crying and yelling at him that he destroyed my trust and told him to leave my apartment. He left without protest and has been staying with his parents. I told him that he had to pay me back all the money. I did threaten to sue him as well. His parents are trying to argue that he was only doing what was best for both of us. Am I the jerk for demanding that my fiance pay me back for selling my train collection? All right, OP.
Yeah, not the jerk here. He literally stole your trains and sold them.
What you need to do, OP, is literally go to the police station and file a police report to get your trains back.
Right, if you can get in the name, if the trains are more important to you than the money, which it sounds like they are, see if you can figure out who he sold them to, and you may be able to talk to them and at least buy some of the trains back.
Well, I mean, it might even be one of those things where if they report them as
If stolen,
stolen,
then like the
then
person can get in trouble for having them. Yeah, you
yeah.
may be able to do that as well.
So it might be one of those things where it's going to be in your best interest to actually report them
Yeah,
stolen.
absolutely. Yeah, you do want to report them as stolen, and you probably do want to, as soon as possible, maybe with police help, approach the collector and see if you can get those trains back.
Yeah, and I don't know what the boyfriend was thinking in this
He just
situation.
saw it as a money grab. He's like, well, we have all this debt. I can just, take these trains and
Magic
sell
wanded
them.
away.
Yeah. I mean,
When God was passing out brains in heaven, he said, "Trains? Oh, I've already got a set of those. I don't need another one." That joke my dad used to tell. It's not a very good joke. So, yeah, I think that OP really is completely in the right here. I don't think that they had literally had their train stolen from them.
yeah. And like he just pocketed the money. He wasn't like even I mean, he shouldn't have sold them in the first place. He knows they mean a lot to her, but he didn't even go, "Oh, hey, here's the money." He like pocketed it.
Well, and this also brings up how much did he get in? Like,
Exactly.
is he lying about the amount of money that he got from this?
And that's why you probably need to involve the police is he may lowball you and be like, "Oh, I got 5 grand for them." And it could be that he got like $30,000 for them or something.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about collectible trains like this, but if she's talking about like the very realistic ones, then some of those trains can go for like 2 grand for a single like engine, and or up to like 10 grand for a single engine, and like they are not like if these are like the pricey collector ones, then the boyfriend may even have gotten lowballed for them. Like the person who bought these trains may have been like, "Oh, you don't know what you have. I'm gonna buy these for a steal." So it's one of these things where you really need someone who knows what they're talking about to appraise something like this. So, yeah, not the jerk.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for moving in with my dad's affair baby, i.e. my sister, and not asking her to leave or hide in her room so my mom can visit without seeing her? When I was 14, I found out my dad stepped out on my mom and got another woman pregnant when I was a baby, so I have a half sister I never met. My mom found out when she realized he was making child support payments and she kicked him out for a few weeks, but she eventually forgave him on the condition that he never contact the affair baby, her words, and she never has to hear about or see her. I had grown up the youngest of the family with 4 older brothers, so little 14-year-old me was just excited to A, have a sister, and B, a younger sister at that. I begged my dad to get me in contact with her, and eventually he gave me her name so I could look her up on social media. Turns out she knew already she had half siblings. Her mom was pretty open with her about the situation, and she had always been pretty curious to know us, so she was happy to be in contact with me. I gave my mom a heads up that I was talking to my half sister, and she was obviously very unhappy about it and said she just didn't want to know about it. My half sister and I became really close. I didn't tell my mom about it. It was weird, but we made it work. Fast forward 6 years, and both me and my half sister were starting to think about moving out of home. We both felt like the most obvious thing to do was to get an apartment together since we both needed a housemate at the same time in the same area, and we were so close, but with my mom's issue with her, we weren't sure. Eventually, I just bit the bullet and asked my mom how she'd feel if I moved in with my half sister. Again, she was obviously not thrilled about it, but said she'd be fine with it as long as she didn't have to hear or see anything about my sister. I took that to mean that if I wanted to spend time with my mom, I'd just go visit home or we'd go out somewhere together. After my sister and I moved in, I found out my mom meant she wanted to come visit me sometimes, and she wanted me to either have my sister leave or hide in her room for that time. She's acting like I should have known that without telling me, and she's upset with me that I refuse to kick my sister out of her own apartment or make her hide like Harry Potter. I'll be in my room, making no noise and pretending I don't exist. It turns out she's also mad at me for moving in with her in the first place. Apparently, I was supposed to know that when she insisted she'd be fine with it. Actually, she wanted me not to do it.
Well, well. I feel bad for the mom in this situation in some respects, but she's not handling this well.
Well, she's pinning her anger on the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like, the half sister had no choice in being born. Like,
Yeah.
I understand it's painful that your husband cheated on you, but he's the one who cheated. He did something wrong.
Yeah.
The kid is innocent in all of this.
Well, that's just it. It's like, how do you hold your grudge against the kid who had who was not involved in this at all? You know, they're an
Right.
accessory to an affair.
And like, I understand not wanting to have a relationship with that kid, but she's an important part of your daughter's life,
Yeah.
and you can't just expect her to just basically deny her existence and like pretend like she doesn't live and expect her to leave her own home so you can be comfortable there.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing is that like the mom is putting a really unrealistic expectation. OP has a realistic expectation. They're like, well, if she doesn't want them around, then I'll just go visit her.
Exactly. That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, but the mom's like, no, I wanted to go visit you. It's like, no, that's not how this works. If you want to visit with your daughter, then either one, you need to make the concession that there is another person living in that house. You might not like them, but you don't have to have a relationship with them. Or two, let your daughter come and visit at your house. Like, there's just really no other in between here.
Yeah.
Are we doing a tea
We
time
are
now?
doing a tea time now.
We're doing a classic mint tea. So, hopefully you folks are having a good tea time as well. Let us know what tea or other beverage that you're having. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? I didn't take care of the kids properly while my wife was gone. Yes, it's one of these stories, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my wife had to go meet her mom who was sick. She's a stay-at-home mom and our babysitter had college work so she couldn't come. So I took 2 days off to take care of the kids, 11-year-old male and a 13-year-old female. My wife left home before the kids woke up because she had to catch a bus to her mom's place. My wife usually makes a really healthy foods for the kids, so I thought one cheat day wouldn't hurt them. I made eggs, bacon, and waffles for breakfast. The 13-year-old wanted to eat his curry that mom makes, so I took the recipe from my mom and prepared that for lunch. The 11-year-old said that he wanted a burger and fries for dinner, so dinner was sorted as well. They then wanted to watch the new Spider-Man movie and made peanut butter ice cream. My wife doesn't like those kinds of movies, so the kids rarely get to watch them either. So basically, it was a full day of fun for the kids. Today, I made healthy meals for the kids, porridge and fruit and for breakfast, cauliflower soup, and grilled ham and cheese sandwiches for lunch. When my wife came home around 4 p.m., she was really tired and she took a nap until dinner. When we were preparing dinner, the kids were sitting at the table and telling their mom all about yesterday. She was smiling through the conversation, so I thought she wasn't mad at me or anything. However, after the kids were put to bed and we were in a room, she started saying that I'm irresponsible and that I shouldn't have been so lenient with the kids for the entire day. She said that I'm a lost cause at parenting and that she shouldn't have left the kids with me. Am I the jerk?
No. So when I opened up the story or read the title, I was expecting negligence, and it's like, I gave my kids a treat day where they
Yeah.
had food that kids like and watched Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, you hear about these stories all the time on Reddit where someone's like negligent of their kids, like, oh, they left their kid around in dirty diapers for 4 hours out of the
Yeah.
day or like the entire day or something like that. And all this guy did was make them a less healthy foods.
Right, and like none of these, like, okay, yeah, maybe eggs and bacon and waffles is like not the healthiest food in the world, but it's also not like they were having a full day of garbage. I
He
mean,
didn't feed them birthday cake for
I
breakfast, for
know
crying out loud. Like waffles, eggs, and bacon
it's
aren't.
a pretty typical breakfast in a lot of households. And then
Yeah,
they had curry for lunch,
yeah.
and then burgers and
Curry?
fries. Like, okay, yeah, you don't want to eat burgers and fries every day, but like, what's wrong with a day of like less than perfectly healthy foods?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it was that when he did it while she was gone, and so now she feels like she's the, bad parent, this rule enforcer, and that she's going to be the less fun parent or something like that, where
That's possible. But
that's
my
possible.
guess is just that she doesn't like these things, period. It likes them really, really limited, if at all. And
Yeah.
so it's more that they had three. Well, they only had, I mean, again, how unhealthy is curry? So they really only had two, like, unhealthy meals that day anyway.
Yeah, and apparently it's a meal that mom has made before, so I don't know what
Well,
she
his
was.
mom makes.
Oh, his mom. Okay. So, yeah, I guess it's not really even that unhealthy here. So I don't know. I think that OP's wife really just needs to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Like, let the kids have a little fun. And it's sad that they can't see movies that they want to see because
Yeah.
their mom doesn't like it. Like, it's important to let kids explore their own interests and stuff too. So, like, she doesn't have to watch Spider Man with them if she doesn't want to,
No,
but
of course not.
the kids should be able to see Spider Man. It's
Yeah.
not like there's anything bad about Spider Man,
As far as we
as
know,
far as we
I
know.
haven't seen the recent
I
ones,
haven't
but
either.
I know Mary's watched them, and Mary's a good judge of character, so I trust that Spider-Man's pretty good.
All right, our next story is: Am I the jerk for sending someone's fiance the lewd and insulting messages he sent me? I'm a 37-year-old female, and I was somewhat wild in college, as in I slept with multiple guys and partied, but I didn't ever do anything illegal, dangerous, or immoral. I'm now happily married with 2 kids and have no regrets about my fun times while in college. A few months ago, some guy I hadn't talked to since I was 18 and a freshman in college sent me messages on social media in the middle of the night that were horrible. It was basically a drunk rant about how I was a huge W word. I spread my legs for anyone, how I loved doing explicit things with him, etc. I immediately blocked him and ignored them. I recently saw a post from his now fiance, who I used to be friends with in college but haven't talked to in years, announcing their engagement and gushing about how he's the kindest, most gentle, wonderful guy in the world.
Sure sounds it.
I was angry that he was pretending to be some great guy while sexually harassing me in his spare time, so I forwarded her all the messages he had sent me. He contacted me, got my number from mutual friends, freaking out, told me that I was insane and jealous of his fiance. I didn't think I did anything wrong, but our mutual friends are all on his side and said it was crazy for me to contact his fiance, who I hadn't spoken with in over a decade, over some drunk messages he claims he didn't even remember sending me.
Oh, sure he didn't.
A few even said he only told the truth since I had slept around in college. Now I'm wondering if I overstepped by sending these messages to his fiance. And I just want to clarify that none of these mutual friends are people who I'm currently close friends with. They are people we both went to college with, so I've known them for years, but they aren't people who I regularly hang out with.
So they contacted her after a decade of silence to
Yeah.
tell her that she was a bad person. All right.
I assume they are better friends with him. I don't actually know who he is still friends with, but he clearly told them about it, so I'm assuming anyway. My phone number hasn't changed since 2002, so it wouldn't be hard to track my number down from a mutual friend or acquaintance. Also, there is no other information, there is no nefarious backstory, and there's nothing I'm leaving out. I have literally no idea why he sent me unsolicited messages after almost 20 years. And for those of you who are sending me messages accusing me of giving him an STD, trying to slut shame me, and saying I don't deserve to be a wife and mother, I hope you get stuck in the bowels of heck where you do nothing except listen to Baby Shark on loop while dragging the screaming toddler up a never ending flooding hill.
Oh my goodness, that ending is very good. All right. So, what do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Definitely not the jerk. Like, if you know someone is kind of scummy and like you hear they're getting engaged, it's a good idea to tell their partner. Like, people have a right to know who their partners really are.
Yeah, well, the thing is this, like, if he sent these messages out of the blue for no reason, then I don't know, that's a pretty big red flag, and I can't really blame OP for being annoyed that his fiance is gushing about how great of a person he is when simultaneously not being a great person.
Right, like his messages show his true colors. It doesn't matter if he doesn't remember drunk texting them or
Mhm.
whatever. They are saying something about who he is as a person, and
Yeah.
his fiance has a right to know that, he sends these kind of messages to people.
Yeah, and I think that that's just terrible. I think that he hopefully has learned his lesson, and maybe he will actually be a better person in the future.
Although it sounds like probably not, because it sounds like they just want to harass
Yeah,
OP.
poor OP here. Like, I can't blame them for wishing these people to have the baby shark on loop and whatnot.
Yeah, well, and I like how some of the friends were like, "Oh, well, he's just telling the truth." OP was just telling the truth by
Yeah,
sending the messages.
yeah. I mean, why is it any different at that point in time?
Like, well, and I like how they also mix up subjective with objective. Like, Opie didn't add any commentary. She literally just sent screenshots of her messages, whereas
Yeah,
his is all like,
hearsay.
yeah, and like just like kind of slut shamey things and that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah, no good. No good at all. All right, folks. That's all the time that these cool catastronauts have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Amber for joining me today.
thank you for having me.
Happy Friday, Junior,
Happy Friday, Junior.
as it was foretold in the prophecies. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving us a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.